What if America had remained isolated from World War II? How different would our world look today? Throughout the early 20th century, the United States was a nation steadfast in its isolationism, a policy deeply ingrained since its founding. This stance was driven by a collective desire to avoid entanglement in the complex and seemingly distant conflicts of Europe and Asia. However, the tranquility of this isolation was shattered on a calm December morning. On December 7, 1941, Japanese fighter planes executed a surprise attack on the American naval base at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. This brazen assault claimed thousands of American lives and marked a turning point not only in the nation's history, but also in its psyche. Almost overnight, the shock and outrage spurred by the images of smoldering ships and grieving families swept across the United States. Public opinion, once so firmly against involvement, shifted dramatically. The U.S. government responded in kind, declaring war against Japan and shortly thereafter against Germany and Italy. With the echoes of Pearl Harbor's devastation, America's gears of war thundered to life, marking a new chapter both in the war and in American history. From civilians to soldiers, factories to fortresses, America transformed overnight. As the echoes of conflict grew louder across Europe and Asia, the United States faced a stark reality: the need for rapid mobilization to support its allies and eventually to engage directly. This seismic shift wasn't just in manpower but in the very fabric of American industry. President Franklin D. Roosevelt stood at the helm of this transformation. In a fireside chat that resonated through every American living room, he declared the United States the arsenal of democracy. This wasn't merely a statement of intent, it was a rallying cry for a nation to unite under a common cause. Roosevelt's vision was clear: to support the fight for freedom using America's industrial might without yet stepping into the battlefield. U.S. factories, which had been centers of consumer goods production, were swiftly repurposed. Car manufacturers like Ford and General Motors shifted gears to produce tanks and aircraft. Textile mills that once produced household fabrics now stitched uniforms and parachutes. Every segment of American industry pivoted to meet the wartime demand, exemplifying unparalleled industrial agility. This colossal effort was not just about quantity, but also innovation. As factories churned out war supplies, American ingenuity was put to the test, leading to advancements that would have lasting impacts beyond the war. America was not just fighting with soldiers, but with every rivet, every tank, every airplane produced in its factories. Every battle fought, every strategy employed had one goal in mind: victory. As the tides of World War II shifted, American military prowess was showcased in several pivotal battles. One of the most significant was D-Day, the Allied invasion of Normandy on June 6, 1944. This monumental operation began with over 156,000 American, British, and Canadian forces storming the beaches. Under the leadership of General Dwight D. Eisenhower, this bold move marked the beginning of the end for Nazi Germany. The success of D-Day was not just a tactical victory but a psychological blow to the Axis powers, proving that the Allies could and would launch large-scale assaults. Moving to the Pacific Theater, the Battle of Midway in June 1942 stands out as a masterclass in naval strategy. Here, Admirals Chester Nimitz and Frank Jack Fletcher orchestrated one of the most stunning reversals of fortune in naval history. By breaking Japanese naval codes, American forces were prepared for the attack, turning what could have been a disastrous defeat into a crippling blow to the Japanese fleet. The victory at Midway halted the expansion of the Japanese Empire and shifted the momentum of the Pacific War in favor of the Allies. Back in Europe, the Battle of the Bulge, which began in December 1944, was the last major Nazi offensive against the Allies on the Western Front. American forces, caught off guard and initially pushed back through the Ardennes forest, fought fiercely in bitterly cold conditions. The resilience and tenacity of the American troops, under the strategic command of General Eisenhower and field leadership of figures like General George Patton, turned a potential disaster into a triumphant denial of the German push. Each of these battles underscored not just the tactical genius of American military leaders, but also the courage and resolve of American soldiers. They fought not merely for territory but for the principles of freedom and democracy. The bravery displayed and victories achieved at these battles underscored America's critical role in turning the tide of World War II. While battles raged overseas, an equally fervent effort stirred on the home front. As men enlisted and left for foreign shores, the fabric of American society transformed dramatically. Wartime economy boomed, fueled by unprecedented industrial output. Factories that had struggled during the Great Depression now operated round the clock, producing everything from ammunition to aircraft. Women stepped into roles traditionally held by men, symbolized by the iconic Rosie the Riveter. These women didn't just fill positions, they shattered the glass ceiling, proving that they could handle the rigors of industrial labor just as effectively as their male counterparts. However, this period also saw darker moments, such as the internment of Japanese Americans. Driven by fear and suspicion, this regrettable act remains a stark reminder of the fragility of civil liberties in times of crisis. Meanwhile, the military began to see the beginnings of racial integration, setting the stage for a post-war America that would slowly embrace civil rights. Unity and sacrifice characterized the American Homefront, as every citizen contributed to the war effort in myriad ways. War, while destructive, often drives innovation. Throughout World War II, the urgency of conflict propelled the United States to spearhead remarkable technological advancements. These innovations were not just wartime exigencies, but also laid the groundwork for peacetime technology that reshaped the world. At the forefront was the development of radar technology. Initially rudimentary, American ingenuity rapidly enhanced radar capabilities, allowing for the detection of enemy aircraft and ships from greater distances. This not only provided a tactical advantage but also revolutionized post-war aviation safety. Another monumental project was the Manhattan Project. In an unprecedented fusion of physics, engineering, and military strategy, this project led to the development of the atomic bomb. While controversial, the atomic bomb significantly altered military strategy and international relations, ushering in the atomic age. In the realm of aviation, America's contributions were no less significant. The war stimulated vast improvements in aircraft design and production. Innovations included the pressurized cabin, which allowed planes to fly at higher altitudes, and the development of long-range bombers that could traverse continents. These advancements not only dominated the skies during the war, but also democratized global air travel in the years to come. The war also saw enhancements in naval technology. The introduction of aircraft carriers transformed naval warfare, shifting the focus from battleships to mobile airstrike capabilities, a strategy that remains central to naval doctrine today. These groundbreaking advancements not only helped win the war, but also set the stage for technological leaps in the decades that followed. As the Axis powers capitulated, the world braced for a new era shaped by the aftermath of war. In the final moments of the conflict, America's role reached a dramatic climax with the decision to use atomic weapons against Japan. The bombings of Hiroshima on August 6th and Nagasaki on August 9th marked not only a pivotal turn in warfare but also in human history. The immediate effects were devastating. Within moments, both cities were reduced to ruins and tens of thousands of lives were lost. The shockwaves from these events reverberated around the globe, hastening the end of World War II but also ushering in the nuclear age. These actions underscored America's emerging status as a superpower, wielding unprecedented technological might. But the ripples didn't stop at the military or geopolitical level. The ethical implications of using such destructive weapons sparked debates that persist to this day. Was it a necessary act to end the war and save more lives? Or was it a moral transgression that set a dangerous precedent? These questions continue to challenge historians, ethicists, and policymakers. Moreover, the nuclear age brought with it an arms race that defined much of the 20th century, leading to the Cold War tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union. The landscape of global politics was irrevocably altered, with nuclear proliferation and disarmament becoming central themes in international relations. The war ended with monumental victories and profound tragedies, leaving a legacy that continues to influence global politics and ethics. America entered World War II as a reluctant isolationist nation and emerged as a global superpower. This transformation wasn't just a shift in military might, but a profound evolution in America's role on the global stage. During the war, the United States evolved from a nation focused primarily on domestic concerns to a leader in the international arena. The mobilization of its economy, known as the Arsenal of Democracy, not only equipped the Allies with the materials needed to win the war, but also positioned America as an industrial and economic colossus. The strategic victories in key battles across multiple theaters of war underscored America's military capabilities and strategic acumen. These victories, from the beaches of Normandy to the Pacific Islands, not only helped end the conflict but also showcased America's growing military prowess and commitment to global stability. Back on the home front, The war effort galvanized a national spirit of innovation and cooperation. Technological advances developed during this period, from radar to the atomic bomb, set the stage for a post-war world that would be heavily influenced by technological superiority. Post-war, America's newfound status was instrumental in shaping the modern international order. The establishment of the United Nations, with its headquarters in New York City, marked the beginning of America's leadership in global governance. Furthermore, America's role in the onset of the Cold War highlighted its strategic importance in the bipolar power structure that defined the latter half of the 20th century. The legacy of America's role in World War II continues to shape our world, proving that the actions taken during the